I didn't cry when they didn't show. That's the part that surprises people. But no, not a tear. I stood there in the kitchen, the balloons sagging against the ceiling, the cake untouched, the candles waiting for voices that never came. My boy sat at the table in his paper crown, trying to smile for me. 8 years old, and he already knew what disappointment tastes like. They were his family, my family, blood. And still, not one of them crossed the threshold. Not a text, not a call, just silence, and the hollow sound of my son asking if maybe they got lost. I told him no, they didn't get lost, they just didn't want to be found. A week later, my phone buzzed, a family group chat I'd long since muted. My mother, her voice frozen into that polite cruelty she's mastered. Save the date, my niece's sweet 16. Tickets are $1,500 each, Venmo me. Formal attire, no apology. Not even a scrap of acknowledgement that my boy's candles never got blown out. Just a bill, a demand. That was the moment the temperature in my chest dropped. Not rage, not grief, just clarity. My family had always been a ledger. Love traded for appearances. Affection purchased like stock. Value measured by spectacle. I used to play along, desperate for approval. But I wasn't desperate anymore. So I sent her $1. One single, mocking dollar. Attached, congratulations. The message was surgical. Enough to slice, not enough to bleed me. Then I changed the locks, blocked the numbers. Quietly, surgically, I amputated the infection. 2 days later, the knock came. 3 raps, precise. The sound of authority. Police. I opened the door, calm as stone. My son was in his room, headphones on, oblivious. "Ma'am," the officer said, "we've had a report. Welfare concern. Your mother said she hasn't been able to reach you or her grandson. She was worried." Worried. That word almost made me laugh. I let the officer in. I walked him through the house. Neat, clean, fridge full, bills paid, my boy's laughter spilling from his room as he played his game. The officer took it all in, nodded, and apologized for the intrusion. He left with his report clean. But I knew exactly what had happened. She had tried to paint me as unfit, as unstable, as the villain. That was her move. Mine would come next. I didn't fight her openly. That's the mistake most people make, charging headfirst into battle, showing their teeth too soon. No. I let her believe her call to the police had rattled me. I let the silence grow heavy. Meanwhile, I documented everything. Screenshots of the ignored birthday, the invitation for cash, the welfare call. I collected the receipts like a surgeon sharpening blades. I spoke with my lawyer. I set up a trust in my son's name, one that excluded every blood relative but him. I rewrote my will. I ensured that not a cent, not a possession, not a photograph would pass into her grasping hands. Then, the final cut. I sent her one last message. Short, surgical. You've been removed. Permanently. Blocked. Done. The climax didn't come with shouting. It came with silence, with absence, with the realization that she no longer had a hold on me, no weapon to wield. She couldn't guilt me, couldn't shame me, couldn't use my son as her pawn. Her downfall was invisible, quiet, but absolute. Irrelevance. I heard from cousins weeks later. How she raged, how she wailed, how she played the victim at her niece's sweet 16 when people asked where I was, how she spun stories of betrayal. But no one bought tickets to her performance anymore, not after the screenshots leaked, not after people saw the receipts. Her empire of manipulation collapsed under the weight of truth. Do I feel guilty? No. I think of my son laughing that night as I sliced the untouched cake into 2 plates, just for us. I think of him blowing out candles with no one but me to cheer. I think of how he never once asked about them again. Blood doesn't make family. Choices do. And I chose to end the cycle. My revenge wasn't fire or fury. It was colder, cleaner. It was making sure she lived long enough to see she no longer mattered. The police came once. They won't come again. And if she's still waiting for me to break, she'll wait forever. Final thought? They thought they'd taught me silence as a child. They never realized I'd weaponize it.